All right, welcome back, everybody, to Thornton Thistle Farm. We are currently iced in, so normally we do walks and talks and discuss, life, current events, things like that. But today we're going to do quiche and talk, and so we're going to use some duck eggs and some chicken eggs and kind of activate our minds by utilizing our bodies. So that's how kind of both of our brains work best.
Yes, we have to move in order to think.
Right.
And I thought today we could talk about being a villager. It seems I keep hearing on social media people wanting a village to help them and to be a part of. But also, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of younger people want to be a good villager. And maybe because of COVID happening in their teens and 20s, they don't know how to be a good villager. So I thought maybe we could talk about that today. That sound good?
Yeah. I mean, I know that I've heard your brother complain about going to like Airbnbs, things of this
Oh,
nature.
having people ghost him on stuff.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
pay for the Airbnb, and then nobody shows up. That's like
And they
last
don't help. And
seconds.
they're like, oh, we're not going, so we're not going to help you pay.
Right.
That's rude. In case you didn't know that, that's rude. If you make a commitment to someone, it you better have a really good reason to cancel, and they need to know the reason that you're canceling. And if you had agreed to pay for something and this is last minute, you still pay your part,
Yeah.
whether you go or not, because you had an agreement. It used to be back in the day. I say back in the day, we're in our mid 40s. It's not that long ago. It was called, a man was as good as his handshake, or a woman. If you gave somebody your word, it meant something.
Right.
And it really feels to me, based on what I'm hearing, that that's kind of gone by the wayside. And that's a really bad. Like society, we need to be able to trust each other. And if you make a promise and you can't keep it, then you still have to fulfill your end of the bargain monetarily, because you can't leave somebody with the bill. That's incredibly rude. And B, you should have a way to make it up to the person. Like, well, I can't make it to dinner tonight because I'm sick, but I'll go out to with you later. How about when I feel better, we can I'll give you a rain check. It's called.
Well, I think if you have the flu or something like
That's
that,
that's reasonable.
that's reasonable.
But you tell the person what it is. It better be reasonable, and then you make it up to them. You give them a rain check.
Yeah, and everything's so visible today, you're gonna get caught on that. So if you're like, oh, I'm gonna tell, I'm gonna tell Bob that I have the flu, and then I'm gonna go out with,
I'm gonna
Terry and George and go to bars. Like,
Yep. Terry and George are going to take pictures, and they're going to put them on their social media, and somebody's going to see it, and you're going to get caught.
yep, and then you're not gonna have a friend.
Yep, you're going to lose a friend. Um, and that's just I would say, one little piece of etiquette about how to be a good villager. You're going to lose your village if you don't honor some of these. We used to tell our kids when they were really young that, we're talking like preschool age, when their emotions would get the better of them and their friend would take the toy that they wanted and they'd get upset. We would tell them, you're not going to have any friends if you keep acting like that. And the same is true as an adult. Ooh, it's a double yoke. The same is true as an adult. You have you're a part of the relationship too. It doesn't function outside, just within your desires. You have to think about the other person. Another thing that I saw kind of go by the wayside when he was still active duty and I was a Army wife, meal trains. It used to be, if somebody had a baby or a surgery or there was a tragedy in a family, people would take turns taking meals to that family, so that that was one less thing they had to worry about. They could focus on funeral arrangements or recovery, or adjusting to a new state in life. I don't see that happening anymore. By the time, well, you just got out, but nobody was doing that for anybody anymore, and that's really sad. Can you think of another one?
No.
Let's
I mean,
see.
I don't think, in general, I don't think men think this way.
That might be true.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, getting stood up for, sports tickets, or you tell somebody you're going to go someplace and then you don't show up, that starts to slowly destroy your credibility
Yep.
as a man. And then that's going to outreach into your community. and your community is going to slowly start to not trust you either.
Yeah,
So-
reputation is hard fought for and easily lost. I think that is something maybe that contributes to this. People feel like they're anonymous or invisible and that their actions are going to go without consequence.
Yeah, so if you're starting to not get invited to things, use your behaviors that you're becoming involved in, it might be you. You might be the problem, not necessarily the people that aren't inviting you. So, I mean, I would say be very cautious of that. So back on the quiche, we're putting in 6 duck eggs, I think 4 chicken eggs.
3. Oh no, yes, for each one.
Yep, and then we
Yeah.
put some bacon bits in here. I'm gonna whisk these up.
Okay.
So if you add a couple like chicken eggs in with your duck eggs, you can't tell the difference between
How
chicken
about
egg and
more?
duck egg. So
They taste the same.
yeah,
And I'm going to put you want me to put the ingredients inside the pie crusts?
no, you normally put in the
We do this differently then.
well, from my experience, if you put that stuff at the bottom,
Yeah.
then it just stays at the bottom.
Okay.
It
I'm
burns.
not going to put any more in there. We'll experiment.
Yeah. Like I said, I married old Grandma Zumi here because she pays no attention to details. She's not meticulous. She just kind of does what she wants. I think our first big argument was we had pancakes, and she made free-form pancakes. This is 25 years ago.
They were lots of different shapes. So
Well, and they varied in thickness too. Like like the center of the pancake was like crunchy, and then parts of the pancake were fluffy because she just poured it. And it's like, no, you got to pour it in the center so it's a circle. You know, that's just me being OCD.
life with me is an adventure, which is why you love me.
Yes.
But also, he was an art major, and we did not live together before we got married. So this is like the first breakfast I ever made him, and I thought, oh, well, he's creative, so I'll make all these different shapes, and he'll appreciate it
No.
because I'm creative. And I didn't think, oh, an artist might actually be really particular about the shape and thickness and substance and appearance of his food. You're right; it stayed at the bottom.
So what we'll do is we'll just go in here
Mm-hmm.
and we'll kind of stir it while it's inside the quiche, and that'll bring some of those food particles up to the surface.
Thank you for that, for fixing my mistake.
Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody out there is like enraged right now. And then let's put some
Yeah, how do you
spinach.
make your
I pulled
quiche?
this. Yeah, I pulled the stems off the spinach, and I'll just put that on top. And I like a lot of spinach, and we'll kind of stir that in there here if you want to do that a little bit. I like a lot of vegetables. I would say probably 70% of my diet is vegetables. I really enjoy them.
I eat vegetables because I have to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy eating vegetables, but
And
I
then
do
just
it
a little bit of cheese for
because
flavor.
I'm an adult.
Uh-huh.
I'm a grown up.
Yeah.
All right, and then the cheese. That's what makes it palatable for for me.
Mhm.
Somebody's freaking out about that fork over there. I bet it's not touching anything. It's okay. It's fine. All right. So this one is this ready to go in?
Yeah. And what'd you preset the oven for?
375. I did 350 last time. Remember, and it took like forever. I had to turn the oven up.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
another double.
Nice. Oh yeah, back to the villager thing. And also, if you would like to have a village, it helps if you put yourself out there and take on some responsibilities to contribute to that. What I mean is, let's say you're feeling really isolated and you have small kids, but you would love to have a mom's play group. Know that there's other moms that feel the exact same way, and they would love to have a mom's play group. Somebody has to start it. Why not you? And put a thing out on a Facebook or your church or whatever, and see if other moms would like to get together once a week. That's one kind of important part of being a villager, is taking on some of the responsibility of the village.
Yeah. If you just sit at home and don't do anything, you don't engage, like nothing's going to happen. So you actually have to be the one to kind of go out there, engage in some of these things.
Take some risks.
Yeah, if you got your kids at the playground,
talk to the other moms you see there.
Especially if you've seen them there maybe a couple times. You might just want to just go up to the first person you meet and say, hey, you want to come to my house and do a barbecue or something,
Mm-hmm.
play date with the kid, because you might want to vet a little better than that.
Yeah. So you need to don't write checks your bleep can't cash, as his grandpa used to say.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make a promise, you can't break it. And
Yep.
if you absolutely have to, because you have a valid reason, which is like illness, death in the family, something from work that suddenly came up, then you have to give the person a rain check and I guess keep your end of any sort of Airbnb or big financial promise that you've made. So you're not leaving the other person on the hook for a bill that they've either already paid for, well, generally already paid for. You need to be somebody that's willing to take on some responsibility for the community. You don't just get to be a villager and have everybody come to you and you not also help them. So that's a big one. And the third one I already forgot.
Well, you're actually, if you're going to cancel, you have to cancel quick. When we were growing up, we had pagers, things like this. We didn't have instant
I never had
communication.
We had payphones too.
Right. Well, we had all kinds of ancient devices, but you can't behave like back then. You could maybe get away with some of that stuff, but today you're not getting away with it because
everything's so instantaneous.
Everything's instant.
Well, can I make a design?
So you need to, if you have to do a cancellation for a good reason, you need to do that as soon as possible. So 24 hours notice is preferred. But if something just pops up, like you have a luncheon date at noon and you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're sick, then you need to text that person, at 6:30, 7 o'clock and let them know, hey, I'm sick, under the weather. And then there you go. I mean,
yeah, that's cancellation. Anonymity was the third thing. You're not anonymous. You have to remember that even if you have an anonymous handle, like on Twitter or Instagram, or you're doing anonymous posts on Reddit or whatever, you're not anonymous. People know who you are. We had an incident once with someone who was very much in the wrong and had wronged us, and he took to Reddit to complain about us. But I had been unanonymously complaining about the situation to friends and family on my very private Facebook page. And one of my childhood friends had been on Reddit and saw his complaint, even though he was anonymous, and notified me. So you are never anonymous. There's always, that's insane. Reddit has millions of users. I have like 150 people on my Facebook page. What are the odds that she would be one of the people to happen to see his post? You'd think not a lot, but
yeah, the internet.
You're not anonymous.
Internet be that way.
Yeah, everybody has seen people use the internet to track down other people. So just remember that in your real life, you are equally unanonymous. What you do to other people will build your reputation, and that will follow you wherever you go. Yep. So be very careful with your social currency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, let's get these in the oven, and then we'll be back in just a second, and we'll show you how fluffy these quiches turned out.
I tried to make this one have rays of sun out of cheese. We'll see if it works.
All right, our quiche is done. So they've been sitting in the oven for about 30 minutes. Annie, go ahead and do the presentation.
All righty.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, let me grab out the one that's not the sunshine first. I want to save the best for last. Of course. Okay. Let me show it to you. Pretty.
Nice. The Grandma Zumi special.
Yeah, if you don't have chaos, you don't have Grandma Zumi. All right.
Ooh, Picasso.
Sun rays out of cheese. It's the best. Watch your hand. All right, I want you guys to remember that if you want a village, you have to be a villager.
That's right. And I appreciate you guys. Please smash that like button. Remember to subscribe. Only 27% of our viewers are subscribed. So be smart, stay safe, and don't let the thorn thistle keep you down.